Fans of Patrol keeps rolling strong with fresh show after fresh show. We ain't did nothing silly in a while, like didn't give you a show in a couple of weeks. So
it's been look at our 2 week strong streak here. Actually, we did 3 weeks. Look at us. Well, I mean, I think like for a while we go strong, and then sometimes something happens. But we got a plan. We've got a plan in place.
Welcome to Fans of Patrol. My name is Mike. It's the smiley one, Miss Tifflebutt. How are you this week, Tiff?
I'm doing pretty okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing just capital, man. You know, I'm feeling good. The movies are flowing. So yes. I'm going to the show and I'm not seeing total shit. I'm seeing so that makes me happy, man, you know.
Yeah.
So this week, man, big show. Oh man, John Wick came out. And so, you know, we took our time going to the movies, but been waiting on this, not waiting on this, waiting on this, not waiting on this, you know. So that came out. So we're doing John Wick 4. I don't even know what's the subtitle of that damn movie.
It's just John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, because the other ones was Parabellum and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
so then
I know.
Now y'all like, we tired of making up bullshit.
It might have a secret subtitle that like sometimes movies have, but when I looked up for the showtimes, it was just John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, yeah. So, man, we're doing that. We got a little news. Tiff looked at something called Asteroid City. We're going to talk about that.
Well, it's, you know, Wes Anderson's famous. I'm not sure how much... you've seen a Wes Anderson film, but I'm not sure how much you like him.
You would have to point that out to me, because
I would assume so, yeah.
It doesn't resonate with me, you know. It's not like...
Well,
like you said, the Russo brothers. I'm like, oh, Russo.
Yeah, I feel like you would know that, and then maybe not the Wes Anderson stuff, but like I think once you're like, oh yeah, I have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we got a little Dungeons and Dragons news. That's
mm-hmm. So I put this in here for when we talk about it. Put this in here for a very specific reason.
That's very interesting, you know.
Yes, I will tell you, even though you were there to know the reason, but I'm not sure you know the reason that I think the reason is. You're welcome, everybody.
Okay. Mystery all around. So what else we got? We're doing Who Played It Best, and we'll explain that when we get there, but it's going to be cool. And at the top of the key, yes, everybody, John Wick, man. So I don't know, man. It's an action-packed show, man, and we, you know, this kind of sucks, Tiff, because there's movies out right now that we could do, that we would do, but like we getting movies on top of movies at this point, and it's like,
yeah.
And then we go like through these dry spells and we'll like pick some total shit. And we were like, this week we're doing this, and all yeah, y'all don't got shit to do. You know, I hate this, man. I hate how this shit goes.
I kind of do like when we get to see a movie that maybe we normally wouldn't see, but there is about that time of year, and it hits around now where the movies are starting to come out. I feel like it used to be more May. Yeah,
was strong. That was started. And
but now it's now.
Yeah, it's like March and shit. It really started like in kind of February. You know, they started dropping stuff and it getting faster and faster. Then at July it come around and it'll be nothing. We'll be like, we got nothing to talk about. Oh my goodness! So I'm looking forward to the game today and stuff. You know, the other day, man, I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. You know, Brendan Fraser's all hot because he did what's it called? Whale, the movie?
Whale, yeah.
Have you seen that? I haven't seen it.
No, I'm probably not going to see it, but...
He just looks so pitiful. I look like I'm going to watch that movie and be sad, you know?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely assume that people would,
I don't want to be sad, but, you know, he won an Oscar and stuff like that, but I think one of my favorite Brendan Fraser movies got to be Bedazzled. I love that damn movie.
Oh, I do. I love Bedazzled.
If you've never seen that movie, it's just...
I do think, like, if you watch it now, it's probably not as PC as people would like movies to be.
PC, not, you know.
Yeah, it was like back when you could just do, and it's not so bad. Like it's not like one of the, there are some movies that I rewatched that I was like, that I had told people, oh, I love this movie, because I did, and then you rewatch it and you're like, oh my God.
And stuff, and you know, slapping ladies of the night and shit.
Yeah, it was just like you're just like, oh, I guess I remember the feeling, but not the actual plot points of this movie.
What was your favorite part when he was beating up hoes? Was that your favorite part?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I guess you've seen this a lot more recently than I have. But I have seen Bedazzled recently. Still like it.
Look, I had the DVD, and they had like 20 minutes. When you remember when he was a sports dude, and they had 20 minutes of the commentary dudes just like riffing and just going off and just they were just like ad-libbing and it just was like just shit was just the funniest shit ever, man. Like I love that damn movie. Yeah.
I mean, I think about the wish making portion of any movie, and I think I have since I was a child, about like the deep thinking that you have to make when you're making a wish. And I was just like, I feel like I give myself caveats that are just like, okay, but you would have to be like, make sure that the wish is like, I want, like, he would always have to be like, well, I want to be rich. Like that, the basketball thing came apart because he wanted to be like rich, but like famous. And then like, not, he wanted to be like, not for like a nefarious reason. Yeah. And then I think it was like he had a small penis, I think was one of the problems. Yeah.
And when he was rich, he was a member of the cartel.
Yeah. So like, I liked storylines where they make you, I think that the wishing in cinema or like in any kind of storytelling over time is never really good, right? It's always about the trick. Like it's about, so I don't even get the point of wishing, right? Because it seems like maybe that's the point, is that like you shouldn't be wishing.
Yeah, I still watch that goofy show, Stargirl, and they got a character that has a but like they got it broken down. Like every time they like do a wish, the whole team gets involved. They be doing like quantum physics and have like chalkboards, all trying to wish perfectly. So
I like that.
So like they all be like, oh no, don't do that. You messed up, And so like, I mean, the whole wall be full of like mathematical equations and stuff. And I'm like, that would suck ass if that was
Well, that's I think that, like, obviously wishing is teaching you a lesson, right? Like, you shouldn't wish. You should just work for what you get, because wishing, there's blind spots in there where you're like, okay, I had no idea that if I wished, obviously, to be a rich and powerful person, then this person who does not care about me, which is the devil in this instance, is going to give me a drug cartel to run.
What was her name? Was that Elizabeth Hurley? Was that?
Oh, yes.
God. That was at her most finest of fine. God.
Oh yeah, she looks great in that movie. When she's in her little school lady outfit, I was like, well, I like we can all just turn off the movie now.
She was like dressing up like everything she had was like cosplay bedroom screw outfits.
Yeah, which I mean, like, is another part. And honestly, I think that the ending to that movie is so charming. It makes, even if there's other parts of that movie that are like, it's quite cute.
Yeah, but enough of this shit, because we going.
Yeah, now we're going forward, you guys. Let's talk about the present, not the past.
Well, we already said what we're doing. This is gonna be a great show. It's time to get it on. Are you ready to roll?
Oh yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here and come right back. We'll be right back. All right, man, we are back. It's time for a little social media shout out, so you know what other places we can find us. Triple Bob, could you hit us with the hardness?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pow. Get us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fans of Patrol. You can listen on your favorite listening platform, which I said too early, but you can get us on YouTube, which we have been making some improvements on. So if you like to watch instead of just listen, check that out. We're on also TikTok, which is coming to a grinding halt. Fans of Patrol 0. But yeah, if you don't hear us or see us where you want to hear us or see us, let us know.
You said grinding halt. What does that mean?
I feel like it's not actually coming to a grinding halt right away, but as we discussed, I think we've discussed every show since. Yeah, everybody, it's been having some problems.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, man, so we are back on the scene. So, you hooked us up with some good stuff to check out. What do we got up for bid? What's first?
Up for bid. Our first item up for bid is a Wes Anderson movie, and Wes Anderson, I feel like, is one of those directors that probably almost everyone has seen one of his movies, but some people are super into Wes Anderson, and some people are not super into Wes Anderson, and then there's the people who just don't really know. Uh-huh. But like, have you seen Fantastic Mr. Fox? That's probably the one I would assume you'd see.
I know what that is, but I didn't even. My mother wanted to see it when she was a kid, and I was like, I don't want to sit through that. So
you're like, no. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, the Royal Tenenbaums.
I did see
Rushmore.
Tenenbaums.
Yeah,
I did see that. Yes, I did.
So. Yeah. So there's probably, I feel like there's at least one Wes Anderson movie that most people have seen.
Wasn't impressed with Royal Tenenbaums, but
I think he has a definite voice, right? Like, I feel like you see it right away, and you're like, oh, that's a Wes Anderson film, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. He's got like his own situation, but that's like, okay, so you watch this trailer, and I will say that like the first time I watch a Wes Anderson trailer of any kind, unless it's like a more like this one, I'm like, what exactly is happening? I only understand what the trailer is trying to tell me is happening because I read the article. Like, if I'd watched that trailer, I would be slightly confused.
Okay, so when I watched this trailer, I first of all, the look of it was like beautiful. I was like, just like Fallout, man. You know, so I thought it looked just like Fallout, the video game, and you know, they harken back to just like Fallout, the old 50s with the music, the clothes, and what was going on, and you know, it's like 3,000 years after like some meteor hit the planet, and so it's an interesting setup. I have to say, right from the beginning, I got to go straight to my blackness. I'm like, ain't a single minority in this goddamn.
There isn't.
I'm out. Just with that, I was like, I'm out, man. So not one minority survived this. You know, you couldn't even show one in the trailer. I'm out. But it's a shame because this actually looks really charming and really good, man. I was like, oh man, this looks like something I might enjoy. You know, not like first day at the movies, but
definitely like when you're at home.
Well, definitely after about 3 weeks to 4 weeks now when they release them on
you're like, streaming.
I want to check this out. But I just couldn't get behind it when I didn't see a single minority in this thing. And don't tell me you trying to make it's like the 50s where the television never shows you those people. I don't want to hear that or see that, man.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, This is obviously fantasy of some kind, like based on reality of some kind. We have dealt with like nuclear testing situations and obviously horrible nuclear situations in other places, but this is obviously a comedy, and it's done in a very tongue-in-cheek way. You can just tell that's kind of his like
for sure
thing. And it's very beautiful. It's like looking at little paintings.
Like a cartoon at first. It was so cool.
Yeah, it kind of just have like a
Wile E. Coyote,
very vibrant,
through the back.
right, set in this kind of dry backdrop. It doesn't look bad. I just don't. I'm not like, when I watch it, I feel like at some point, and this is going to make people mad probably, but like at some point, I feel like they all feel very similar. They start to feel very similar.
Yeah.
It's just people kind of talking like,
had that dry thing going on. Like almost like a heartbeat. Like it started getting familiar very quickly. That's a very interesting observation, Tiff. Yeah.
And I feel like if you had just replaced the kind of very minute details and not even in some of the characters, because he tends to reuse. And for instance, like, okay, this movie has a ton of famous people in it.
Was that Bill Murray?
Like, that's exactly what I was going to fucking say. It is not Bill Murray. It is Tom Hanks.
Oh, look, and I'm like, is that Bill Murray?
And I was going to say that, like, that is why when I watch this trailer, I'm kind of like, well, that's bizarre, because, like, it feels so interchangeable with his other films that you almost can't even tell that that's not Bill Murray, who is in a lot of his other films.
Was he in that submarine movie?
He's the Steve Zissou movie, yeah.
That was the Anderson
movie.
Yeah. It has a certain look. You're right.
Yeah, it has a look, has a vibe. So, like, I feel like if you were to take a people and you were put them into a testing facility where you showed them images, after a while, I feel like they'd start to be able to be like, that's a Wes Anderson film, even if they had no prior knowledge.
Oh, me, I just knew that was Bill Murray. That's Tom Hanks.
Maybe it's Tom Hanks doing a Bill Murray. But when I watch it, I just kind of feel like, okay. Again, we've discussed this in the past with ensemble casts. Mm-hmm. You have to be so careful because it starts to break down the intention of the film.
You just never know.
Yeah, because you're like, did you pick this person because they were the best person for your movie, or did you pick this person because they're famous? And if you pick the person because they're famous, then what else of this movie have you just been like, yeah, that's the movie? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels a little like giving up, but I don't want to say that because I know there's lots of really great ensemble cast movies. I'm just saying you toe the line. I feel like you have to work harder if you're doing an ensemble cast to make sure that like the art that you're presenting is something that's actually worthwhile, rather than just like, hey, come to see this movie because it's a director that you're really familiar with. Yeah. It looks pretty decent. And look at all these famous people. Like, I mean, I will probably end up seeing this movie. It looks, good enough to watch, but I'm not like I'm not like sitting here wetting myself trying to get to the movies.
Yeah. And it actually looked charming enough for me to watch it. But Tiff, I'm sorry. I couldn't see a single minority in this thing. And I was like, bullshit, I'm done, And
they're very white. And then the background is also it's almost like somebody took a color and just like a bloop. blanched it all out. So yeah, I mean,
even
something to consider.
WandaVision, they did that old 50s look just like this. I'm not just like this, but very similar. And they had all kind of people, even if it's...
Well, what's going to happen if you put a minority in this film? Someone's going to be like, there's no minorities here. It's a fake movie. It's a movie.
Yeah, in the future. So what the hell?
Like, unless we are covering an actual historic event that deals with people's race, I feel like we need to just
drop it.
That's no longer something we should be concerned about.
Drop it.
Because at a certain point, right, like at this point, it's intentional, right? You have to try. And I mean, I guess I haven't seen the film, so I don't know if there's a commentary on that, but that kind of commentary needs to have something else reinforcing it so that it's not just like, all I see is that there's a bunch of white people in this movie.
Yeah, I'm like, man, nobody look like me? Oh, shit, the hell with this. For my buddy.
But, nobody, it's just, just a bunch of people that you go, is that Bill Murray? No, is it Tom Hanks? I know. Well, the only reason is because I also saw it and was like, oh, that's Bill Murray. For until the end, when I was like, oh, it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, that's a mind. So that's where we stand on that one, boys and girls.
Yeah. Questionable.
I want some brothers.
And there's, if you're looking for just famous people, I will tell you, Wes Anderson, there are plenty of famous black people. So the next thing I want to talk about is this trailer. Well, it's not really a trailer. It's like a jokey kind of advertisement for the Dungeons and Dragons movie. And I hinted that I was going to say why I put this in here. But so this just shows the guys from Freaks and Geeks, the geeks, who would often play Dungeons and Dragons in that show. It was a short-lived one season show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That people love. I've seen it. I do really like it. It's just like kind of one of those cult classics that people like still really love and hold on to, and people reference back, and they kind of like bring this back every so often because people love it so much. But I wanted to say we had talked briefly last week about the D12 popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
And then also how we thought it would be funny if they started out the movie like with people like playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I thought that's what you was doing here, and I was like,
right.
Okay.
So I saw this and I was like, oh, it's kind of like they knew that's exactly what we were thinking. But I didn't realize. So he's not a young man anymore. The dude in the background who looks really young.
Yeah.
Who says, "Oh, I haven't gone through puberty."
Yeah.
He's the director of the movie. I didn't know that. He was from the show. He starred in that show. And he is the director of the movie and co-writer, John Francis Daly. I didn't know that.
That is super interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And so like I think they all have I think all of these actors, but I'm not sure, have talked about how they actually do play and enjoy Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see someone who is having kind of a passion project potentially because something that they love. And this was really cute to bring that back.
Yeah, I can get behind that 100%, Tiff. I mean,
I actually think that you might like Freaks and Geeks.
I never, I have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So doesn't mean that you just get to. There's so much shit out there. So some things you grab to, some things you don't. And but this was funny. I like how they were like, it's been 29 years, and dude was like, it's my parents' dead and stuff like that. Pretty funny. And then to find out this guy's the director, that's pretty interesting. Yeah,
I like that he recognizes where he has come from and what made people love him, and that probably he loves too. Has nice memories of it and brings it back. Plus, it's just it's such a short thing. It wasn't. I don't think it was on television. I think it's just a Twitter ad, and I thought it was really charming to just have, even if you had no idea. About Freaks and Geeks. I think that this is a very charming ad.
I assumed everything that you said about it except for him being a part. I said, this must be a beloved show. And, here they are, I didn't even realize they were promoting the movie until the very end of it. They said, somebody should make a movie about that. And that's a terrible idea. It's like, nerds, that's all the way.
I loved that part of I think every kind of nerd's feeling about the properties that they enjoy is kind of like the 50-50. They're like, oh, I think I would really like to see that movie. And then you're like, oh, no, they're going to fuck it up. And the fact that he's the director makes it even more charming.
Well, not trying to go too deep on it, but it's kind of funny. They're from a different generation than I am. where you say that stuff and then the negativity kind of comes out. When I was young, they were, it was like everything should be a movie. It was like that would be a fucking movie. We just wanted, we didn't have, we had a wonky ass Peter Parker that would come on TV, would shoot a rope out of his hand. Superman blew our mind away, and after Superman came on, everything should have been a movie. He's like, he should get a movie. And so we just always wanted a movie. So the difference of the generations when I was looking at it was like, yeah, that generation would be like, terrible idea. Well, we would have been like, yeah, and we were proud of movies, growing up that never materialized,
the promises. I mean, I think every generation probably has one or two movies that they had hopes for, and for some reason it canceled or didn't make it through. But I also think that, like, in this instance particularly, the longer you go into a technology's availability, so film, which, like, even up until, like, film made, like, massive strides consistently throughout the history of film, like from just being silent to then having talking in the movies, and then color, and then, like, just gigantic strides. And then within, like, the last probably 20 or so years, it's just been, I wouldn't even necessarily say there has been a lot of progress as far as, like, special effects and all that stuff.
How about just George Lucas changed the game with digital film and, digital.
Yeah, and sound and all these kind of things. But also just the enormous amount of movies that there are now, just from the beginning of film until now. And then within this part, it's kind of like, remember when, like, VHS made just making things accessible, and so people were just releasing shit onto a tape from their basement because they could, and they would just sell it because it was just accessible. So, like, just having that kind of glut makes people more, I guess, bitter. Not bitter, but, like, maybe a little bit bitter, but more just like, I don't think that's going to go well.
I
don't think it's going to go well.
I think more critical.
Like, ready to, I mean, I think it's because before, when there was less stuff, as far, like, especially superhero movies, maybe particularly, you would be like, okay, that's good, and it was good, but also, like, it's also as good as it gets. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, now there's so many that people will be able to say, like, well, that's not as good as X, so why would I even bother?
That is true. Anyway, that is true. So it's pretty charming. So I dug it. We'll probably do that movie next week.
Oh yeah.
And, they
better solve that fucking popcorn bucket, or I'm gonna be mad.
All I want to do is have a good time. It just needs my one word needs to be fun, and I'll be satisfied.
And you'll be okay. Yeah, as long as you tick up to fun.
Yep.
You're gonna be okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that's it, man. We're gonna take a break because that's it for the news, man. And we're gonna come back with this new thing. So hold on to. I thought about last week. I was hold on to it, and we'll be right back.
Hold on.
True time.